Hi everyone, it's Steph from Stellium Astrology, and I am just recording today. I'm always full of ideas of what I want to talk about throughout the week, and then I sit down and I'm like, I don't know what to say. um, but yeah, I just kind of like, I'm mindful I really want to get back to podcasting. I always say this, but like I've got a few students and clients that I work with closely, and a couple of them were talking in one of my groups today, or the other day, and they were saying like how I was their kind of way into their learning journey. And my podcast, more specifically, is how they found me. So I kind of feel like this is an important thing to do because it's my platform where I can reach out to people, and I make, meaningful connections this way as well. So that's why I'm kind of doing it. But that said, with the loveliness, I'm actually not here to talk about lovely things today. And excuse me, you can hear I've got a bit of a cold. I'm not feeling 100%. But yeah, so we are in the throes of something quite major at the moment. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see, where are we? Let's do this one first. So yeah, we're in the throes of so Saturn's just about to move into Aries. What's it saying? There we go. So Saturn's about to move into Aries, and Neptune has moved in already. So I think Neptune moved in on the 26th of January, and Saturn moves in on Valentine's Day, 14th of Feb. I mean, in other parts of the world, I'm talking about Greenwich Mean Time, Universal Time, but in other parts of the world, it's going to be a different day that it moves in, possibly slightly earlier, on the 13th maybe, or potentially 15th. I don't know. I'm not the world clock. But maybe check it out for your location. But yeah, it's around Valentine's Day in the UK. So that's going to shift things, particularly for Capricorns like myself. I have been in the throes of feeling really rubbish now for like, I don't know, I'm just ill. And it's sort of like fluctuates, and I'll be like, okay, and then I'll be ill. And it seems to be a lot worse lately, with Saturn in the final degrees of Pisces. So I'm kind of like dealing with that, kind of like collective soup, that is, oh look, my microphone's right in the way there. The collective soup that is the final degrees of Pisces, that sort of like that, almost like that 12th house feeling of being stuck in a room where there's no boundaries between anybody. Everybody knows everybody's business, it's like that kind of feeling. So yeah, everybody's germs are everybody's germs, basically. And yeah, so look at that as well. We've got Mercury and Saturn sitting at a semi-sextile to each other. So maybe this is a good opportunity to try and analyze some of the murkier aspects of the planet of fear, the planet of the hierarchies, sitting in the final degree of the sign of resignation, spirituality, a sense of transcension, resignation. It's challenging. Mercury's already moved into Aries. Now, what's really interesting is that Neptune has moved into Aries. And Neptune is the planet that I already recorded like a bonus on my Patreon page, which was about what happened for me personally when Neptune moved into Aries last time in the end of May 2025, which was a revelation. It was a revelation. And there's a fixed star that sits at 0 Aries. I believe it's 0 at the moment, and it's moved a quarter of the way round the zodiac from 0 Capricorn, approximately 6,243 years or something. I can't really remember when it was. Maybe we can have a look and see by searching for it. But essentially, the last time there was a Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, I believe that Saturn and Neptune were sitting. Saturn and Neptune were at 0 Aries, and the fixed star Sheeeeet. It's spelled Scheat, I think. Sheeeeet. Anyway, I like to call it Sheeeeet. That star has moved. It's precessed from 0 Capricorn all the way around to 0 Aries in like 6,000 odd years. And the last time this exact conjunction happened at 0 Aries was that long ago. So it's literally taken, it's like a quarter move round. So this is like a, it's almost like this is like a new moon. Think of it like moon phases, because this is the first degree of the zodiac. And if it takes 6,000 odd years for that fixed star to literally go round the wheel and be at 0 degrees of a sign of the cardinals, then it is returned. So we are kind of at a point of closure, and is in every sense, it's the ending of a huge cycle. It's the ending of a cycle. You think of it like the new moon being the ending and the beginning. This is what this Saturn-Neptune conjunction is for humanity now. If I put 0 Aries on the ascendant as well, oh gosh, go away, screen is glitching. So yeah, if I've now got Saturn and Neptune sitting at 0, so that's the first like whole sign houses with Aries rising. As you can see as I speak, you know, Taurus is rising, fine, whatever. But that's not my area of focus. I'm kind of interested in Saturn and Neptune because this is such a huge thing. Like as this was closing in, and I've been watching it for a while and thinking about what could Saturn Neptune be, it's huge because these large transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, they are the gods of change, and the Saturn is the kind of like the last traditional planet before you get to the transpersonal ones. So and he is, you know, the god of reality, the tough teacher, and all the other little things that I was reeling off. He's generally considered to be a malefic. He is the malefic, the great malefic. Neptune is kind of like Poseidon and the god of the ocean. And there's this sense of like, you know, a kind of a cleansing. I think when you go to restart with Neptune involved, it's almost like a bathing, a cleansing of things. Anyway, so I was laying in bed last night. I've not been getting a lot of sleep lately, possibly because you might think that Saturn in the final degrees of Pisces would be quite hypnagogic, but unfortunately for me, it's the opposite. I am laying awake at night and my mind is rattling all these ideas around and what ifs and, you know, the typical overthinky stuff that, you know, most people do when they're left alone with nothing to distract them. And all that kept popping into my head was I was thinking about Brave New World, and I was thinking about all this stuff that's coming out with the files that have been released on the Department of Justice website, the Epstein files, which have come out now. I'm not somebody to just sit there and be told something. I have to explore and I have to dig deep because I have an 8th house sun. I have a 5th house moon in Scorpio. I have a Saturn Pluto conjunction as well. So like the ruler of my sun and my moon are in conjunction. I'm like sleuthy. I've got like the investigator, deep research signature. And so that's what I have been doing. I've been going deep. And let me tell you something. I am a seasoned truth seeker, and since the early 2000s, when I first explored this area and got into these ideas and felt they really resonated, but really had no grounds for, like, no evidence. I just thought, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. This resonates. I can't explain why, but I feel it in my bones. And yeah, essentially, as times unfolded, we've had all sorts of things like WikiLeaks, and we've had, you know, all sorts of things, like, you know, when Saturn was at 28 of Pisces, 28 of Scorpio, back in, oh my gosh, now, when was that? Was it in 2012? Oh gosh, when was Saturn in Scorpio? That was when all the stuff came out about Jimmy Savile. When Jupiter entered Scorpio, we had the Harvey Weinstein stuff come out about Hollywood. And things have sort of been slowly here and there coming out, and the world's become more and more unbelievable. Like, it's almost like, wow, what is this madness that's happening in the world? And almost we all kind of detach from it and think, well, what's going on? Because it's just a big circus almost. It's just like we feel so powerless and unable to do anything about the state of the world. And it seems to be that the true most terrifying ideas about half of these things that I was reading about back in the early 2000s are actually, it's all in the Epstein files. It's all there. So I am not going to explain what I've seen in the Epstein files. If you want to go and have a look for yourselves. But it is not good. It is not good. It is keeping me awake at night. And yeah, I guess really the truth is, I'm looking at this Saturn Neptune conjunction. What my ideas about what it could be were, you know, it was, I definitely had in my head child exploitation. Nothing about it screams child. Well, I suppose Aries is about children, because Aries is like, if we look at zero Aries, that is the point of entrance. It is the, if we look at Pisces, we can think of it as like the birth canal, and then the entry point is zero Aries. It's like where the astrological new year begins. And Aries, the ram or the lamb, is basically like a sign for youth, for infancy. You know, it's a sign for that kind of point in your life, but also that sense of innocence and fearlessness. And having this conjunction sit at this point in the zodiac, it highlights, I suppose, without me having really made the connection too strongly before, the connection to children and infancy. And actually, you know, I was thinking more, I thought that a lot was going to come out about you know, people who have their families on YouTube and they are like exploiting their children. A lot about, I just thought a lot of it would be about that kind of thing, which a lot has kind of unfolded with that over the years. I don't think anything could quite prepare me for the fact they were actually going to release the Epstein files. I was kind of like in the belief that we would be in another kind of JFK assassination type thing, where they'd be like, no, we're going to keep them locked for like 75 years or whatever. So the fact that they've been released is, like, in my mind, just mind-blowing. But yeah, I was laying in bed and I was thinking Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, and just thinking back to like when we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in 2020 and how I was reading 1984 and Wild Swans. That's tough. That's a tough read. It's a great book, but it's very tough. And just at the time thinking, God, why am I reading this stuff at this time? Like, it's so dark to be reading this during a pandemic. But this, again, we have like Saturn in contact with Neptune. And you know what? With Saturn is the final planet that we can see with our naked eye. And then beyond that, we have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And all of those planets are like, they have a kind of an anti-Saturn effect. Like, they are the antithesis of Saturn, in the sense that Uranus, it breaks, it shatters the Saturnian principle. Neptune corrodes, it erodes, it dissolves, and Pluto, well, it's literally, it destroys. There can be a framework left behind with Saturn, but it's only what's essential. It's almost like, not to want to use a horrible image, but let's not forget that Pluto was discovered around the time of the Hiroshima explosion bomb, and I think it was at 18 Cancer, which is interestingly where the IC is today, as I discuss. And actually Jupiter's around this point as well, really interestingly. So perhaps this is why things are so utterly explosive and earth-shatteringly shocking. But yeah, essentially, if you think about what a nuclear bomb can do, it can turn everything into dust. But there are some things that do get left behind. And you know what? Nature prevails, always prevails. It doesn't matter if it takes 30 years. In universal terms, in cosmic terms, what is 30 years but the blink of an eye? It's not even the blink of an eye. It's a grain of sand in a giant cosmic sand timer. It's just a moment that moves. So yeah, I think that really the thing that's keeping me feeling grounded right now, and maybe things will shift when Saturn moves into Pisces, Aries, but what's helping me to stay grounded at the moment is this sense that the war that is truly being fought right now is on our spirit. I mean, I know there's real wars, there's real bloodshed, there's real horrific, unnecessary, power imbalance, which is exploiting for their own gain, is the only way I can say it. The greed, the pure greed that's taken over these people. But the truth, how I feel the truth, is that we are. I saw a thing online saying that they had somebody talking about aliens. They've had somebody in touch with aliens, and they've translated what aliens describe humans as, and we are containers. And I'm like, whoa, containers, that's really dark as well. But it's more about the sense that we are literally here having a physical experience, and actually we are the containers of the soul. The soul is trapped inside, and we are here to experience the world in a very separate way to other people, to try and understand and accept varying degrees of difference and duality on this planet, before we leave at the exit point and reintegrate with wherever it was we came from. Whatever your belief is, however you connect to your spiritual essence, and whatever it is that fulfills your particular earthly expression of divinity, the truth is that we are connected. All of us are connected. We are all one. Even the darkest, most separate and divided aspects of humanity, stuff we don't want to look at, is actually part of that too, which is horrible to accept. To go a little deeper, be a bit more honest even, I had a very profound out-of-body experience in 2013. It changed my life completely. And during that experience, I connected with myself. Perhaps I'll go on, perhaps I'll record a separate thing. But yeah, I connected with myself as a higher consciousness, and people might have their opinions about what that was, but what truly happened was I had an opportunity to ask questions about humanity and what is going on, because back then I was lost and I was freaked out, because I was like, why on earth? And it was when Saturn, I'm sure it was when Saturn was actually around 2013, 2014, maybe it was 2014, 2015, when the Jimmy Savile stuff was coming out, because this experience happened around my Saturn return. And so yeah, that was sort of 2012, 2013, early. Yeah. So yeah, I had an opportunity to ask questions about the darkness of humanity and why it exists. And I was told that the universe is literally light and dark, and without the light we cannot have the dark. So in essence, for us to exist, for consciousness to exist in its physical and etheric forms, we have to experience extremes, polar extremes in humanity, in the human expression, in life itself. I guess that's made it easier for me to kind of integrate that knowing of why these dark principles exist. And it doesn't make it any easier for me to accept it, like as and I can't appreciate it. I can understand that almost it is a necessary part of existence. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying it was an understanding that I reached through this experience that I had. I think, like, when we talk about out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences, it was a very similar thing that I had. It was profound, and at that time I was having a lot of that. So that's a story for another time. But my point is that we are here having an extremely huge shift in consciousness and awareness on this planet, and I think it might be easy to fall down rabbit holes where you lose sight of the true importance of what's going on, which is that some people have lost their way and other people are here continuing with doing the spiritual work, doing the work that is, I saw someone saying this is such a cop-out, people have to be held accountable. I completely agree. I want to see people being held accountable, I really do, but I also agree that we mustn't lose our faith in what's right, in being upstanding spiritual citizens. Whether or not you're a spiritual person, if you're listening to this thinking, oh god, what a load of drivel, whatever the rules are that you hold yourself personally accountable to, whether it's biblical, Bible, 10 Commandments type stuff, if it's spiritual stuff, if it's Reiki, precepts, if it's you're just a personal code that you live by, that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be about spirituality, but it's about your personal set of rules and your kind of, it's not even righteousness. Everybody's different, everybody's got their own thing, but we all know what's right and wrong, and that's my point. So yeah, that's essentially what's going on. Now, what I was going to say was it just kind of reminds me of the film They Live at the moment. I don't know if anybody's seen They Live. I was talking a week ago about my friend Richard, and when we were living in Wiltshire, and my ex as well, and we used to go to one of the local pubs. I say local, but when we had boats, there were a few locals we used to go to, and they used to have a movie night in one of the pubs, conspiracy movie, and we went in one night, and it was they put on the film They Live by John Carpenter, and I was like watching this film, and it's a long film as well. I've watched it a few times since as well because I really enjoyed it, because I think it was made in the 80s. I'm going to have a look and quickly see if I can find it. Let's see. They Live made. Oh, it says it's the 70s here. Oh no, it's 1988. Oh, well, this makes total sense. Okay, so I was looking at, so it was made, it was released on November 4th in 1988. So let's have a quick look, because I keep thinking this is so like They Live. It's the film, it's just exactly like it. So yeah, you've seen this now. I just had this up for ages. So let's put They Live up. So let's create a new chart. They Live. Did I say 4th of November 1988? Well, I know that They Live, I'm just going to do 12 o'clock because and I'm going to put Hollywood because yeah, I can be more specific. Oh wow, so the ascendant for Hollywood for a noon chart is 29 Capricorn. I'll tell you why that's important in a minute. Sun Pluto conjunction on close to the midheaven at 18 degrees. Well, interesting, I'm talking about Scorpio and how Saturn moving through Scorpio and all of that stuff. Oh, loads of planets at late degrees of signs, Uranus and Saturn there. Saturn at 29 Sag, which means that it's currently sextile the position now. So it would have done a full return and then gone back to it's progressed onwards. 80s. Yeah. Now, oh my gosh, Mars at 0 Aries. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Astrology just blows my mind every time. Yeah, essentially, the Saturn Neptune conjunction happened 3 times in Capricorn in 1988. I believe, was it 1988? Let's have a quick look and just see. Oh gosh, where's my, there it is, there's my mouse. So what am I looking for? Dynamic? No, I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for the events. There we go. Saturn Neptune. Let's go back. Right, 1989. It was 3 times in 1989. So the Saturn Neptune conjunction happened 3 times in 1989. One on the 3rd of March, one on the 23rd of June, and one on the 13th of November. So this was just before that. So we've got a Uranus Saturn conjunction, and then we've got Neptune at about 8 degrees of Capricorn. And then when they all got together, when did it happen? What degree is what I'm wondering. So let's have a quick look at the first one, because I think it happens at around the same degree every time. Let's do it for chart 2. 11. 11 degrees, 11 degrees again, and 10 degrees. So yeah, it's happening in Capricorn at those times. Now, that's really interesting because the fact that it happened around that time is really, it's interesting because like it's aligning with the energy. If you've not seen the film They Live, in a nutshell, these people, Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestlers in it, and society's kind of like really imbalanced. He's looking for a job. He finds a job on a building site, and he starts finding people are watching TV. He starts noticing that people are hypnotized by what they're watching on the telly, and he finds a place where they're transmitting this frequency. And he also finds this box of sunglasses, puts on the sunglasses, and suddenly he can see the world for what it really is. It's the billboards don't say book a holiday in the Bahamas. It actually says, keep up with the Joneses, or consume, obey. You must have seen it. It's a very classic film. And there's a whole fight scene in it where he's trying to get somebody to put the glasses on, and they're refusing to put the glasses on, which is it's a metaphor for people who just don't want to open their eyes to this stuff. And yeah, the aliens are all like these like weird, like shrunken skin faces with big beady eyes. They have these watches that they communicate, like Apple watches, communicate with each other, so they can just talk to each other on watches and go, oh, there's one that can see us. He can see us. Like the mask has slipped. So it's a really, really interesting film because it just talks about, like, almost in a sense, it's like a revelation type of thing. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about that film because I just feel like I watched that film back in my days of hanging out in the West Country in Wiltshire. And I remember at the time thinking, like, being excited by it, thinking, wow, this is just like a brilliant film because it just talks about how people are so prepared to close their eyes to like injustice and like imbalance and stuff. But I didn't realize like quite how on the money it would be. Like, it really is, it just echoes the time so well now of what's happening at the moment. And yeah, the reason why I wanted to show you was because John Carpenter, who is the he's the director of the film. I don't know where my other screen's gone with his chart now. Let me have a quick look for it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Let me just switch it up because I can't be bothered to put it up. Well, actually, I will do. I'll put it up on on Astro. So John Carpenter is the director of the film. It's funny because I looked that up without actually thinking about looking up when the film was released, and that made so much more sense. And Carthage, is that how you say it? Carthage or Carthage? in New York. Now, let's see. There's his chart. So there we go. Yes. So the ascendant of the film is 29 Capricorn. Let's take it back to equal houses. Okay, go away. Stop it, please. So he has got Sun in Capricorn. So his date of birth is 16th of January 1948, and he's born at 9:50 Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, he's got his Sun is in Capricorn at 25 degrees. Mercury is at 3 degrees Aquarius, which is where Pluto is at the moment. Let's just do a current chart for now, just because I think it will be even more interesting to look at. Yeah, look, Pluto's sitting on there at the moment. No wonder I liked it. I've got stuff in Aquarius. He's got Jupiter on his midheaven. So he was having Saturn moving over his midheaven as he was making this film. His ideas were being brought to fruition. What he'd be known for. He's known for like other films as well. I can't remember the names of them all now. There's loads of them, Halloween and stuff like that. But yeah, so oh look, he's a Saturn Pluto native as well. And yeah, I think, oh look, so here we go. So let's just the other thing was he's got, is it a Pisces moon? So what I found really interesting was he has got a Pisces moon and a Capricorn sun, and his film came out and it wasn't a big hit at first, but it then became big and had a cult following. And he's doing a Saturn Neptune storytelling, and he is Saturnian and Neptunian himself. He's also got, if you look, so it's like he's got Neptune sextile to Pluto, which is close to Saturn. It's flavored by Saturn as well. So it's like it's a great conspiracy signature, that is. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that because I just thought that was really interesting. Now let's put those up and let's move that out of the way. So there we go. There's they live, and current transits. So look, Neptune's at 0 Aries, and they lives, Mars is at 0 Aries as well. That's what is just mad to me. I just always find it really interesting when something like that lines up and it's like completely accidental. Anyway, yeah, I did want to talk about they live just because it just feels like it's really fitting for current circumstances. Anyway, I'm aware this has gone on for a while. I didn't mean for it to be a long one, but I never do I? I hope you guys are okay. Stay strong. Do grounding and protecting, cleansing rituals. I've just gone and smudged my whole house, and I think more than anything, stand in your own sovereignty. As Pam Gregory always says, you know, we have to be upstanding, strong, and fight for what's right, for what we know and feel is right in the core of who we are. Because this is a group of people, so this is the 1% who are abusing that position, and you know, we don't all have to be like that. Anyway, that's the best advice I can give, is to know that this is a spiritual war. Stay strong, stay pure, stay true. And I'm sending lots of love to everybody, and I will do another video for you at some point, and hopefully it will be a little bit brighter. Take care, everyone.